welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we are going to take a little step back and look at some of the city's digital and technology successes over the past few years. Hampton was named a top 10 digital city for its size in the whole country for 15 out of the last 16 years. So here to talk about that are my guests, Dacia Hollis, who runs the website, and Leslie Fuentes, who runs our IT department. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, Robin.
Hello, Robin.
You know, this is a big darn deal. When I sat and counted it up, because it started way before I got here, there are not very many cities in the country who can claim this.
That's right. We've been doing this for 16 years. Dacia and I get together every year, and we go through all the new things that we've done. Our city is just so innovative, and our departments are always looking ahead for what the new thing is.
So let's just talk for a second. Who decides this digital city? How is it determined? Who's a top 10 city?
There is the Center for Digital Government runs this, and they have a survey which they send to all the cities. Cities decide to participate, and there is a pretty robust scoring mechanism. They look at things like how much interaction do you have with your community and your citizens, how are you managing technology, and things like that.
And you know what stands out to me again is anybody can kind of win one year. You put all your eggs into that entry form. But you know, this is spread out every year. You got to do more. It's not enough to like get to some place and then stop, right?
Yes.
Correct. I mean, we submit different ideas that the cities are doing every year. Whenever we develop a new application, whenever we do things in-house, internally, and it actually impacts the citizens by saving money and efficiencies, we want to keep up on that by making sure that we learn more about what other cities are doing, try to stay in competition. And also with the private sector, we can't always keep up, but we can definitely try to mosey along to make sure that we're getting more access to things that don't typically happen in government. So by doing that, it is a prestigious award because by staying in the top 10 and top 5, we're showing that we are being transparent with our citizens and making sure that we keep digitally connected with them.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say. So I'm going to instead say, Leslie, why don't you talk about some of the advances that you have led in the past few years?
Well, some of the most interesting things that we've done and things that citizens are using today are our library has put all their books and has a whole library online that you can use with your mobile app or a computer from any place, anywhere, if you have a library card. We also have online permitting and inspections, and that's going to be expanded this year. And
that's been a huge one, especially for your average citizen who has a yard sale once or twice a year, not to have to come down to City Hall, to be able to just do that online, I think is such a convenience.
Yes.
Not to mention all the builders and contractors. Good for them too. But
yeah, and with the yard sales, I think we're one of the only cities that have where if you want to come to a yard sale, we publish the map with all our upcoming yard sales. We also, as Dacia mentioned, have some efficiencies. For instance, we put all our employee pay statements and W-2s online, and we saved about $20,000 a year in printing costs doing that. So those are some of the efficiencies.
And you know, that's one of the ones that the citizens would never see and would in a lot of ways not care about, except it makes their government more efficient, it reduces the cost of government so that we can spend more money on services that do affect our citizens.
Yep.
Dacia, what are some of the things, here's what I want to say. We don't do these to win awards. we get to the part where it's time to fill out the application and say, what have we done for our citizens and our staff and our efficiency, and then look at it. It's not like we're saying, hey, let's do this so we can win an award. We're doing it for you guys. But at the same time, we're getting recognized. So what are some of the web developments that you've done?
Well, we actually launched in July a brand new redesign of the Hampton.gov website. With that, it came with a couple of different pages that gave a little bit more beautification to the page where you can access our news flash. You could do bids and contracts online, so small businesses can submit their application to, have services with the city, which before it used to be a pretty cumbersome process, but if you see that the bid is on there online, you can sign up to get notifications of them, and it just makes it a little bit more robust to interact with the city.
Oh my gosh, everything. And you can get a notification. So every time the city puts out a bid, you can get a
You get a
text alert or an
notification.
email.
Exactly.
I mean, people, businesses can't say they didn't know because there's such an easy way to find out now.
Correct. And a big thing that we've started pumping up a little bit more is our online calendar. We place all of our meetings for boards and commissions, so if citizens want to participate and or speak at a council meeting, they can go online and have the calendar and sign up, save it to their computer, be notified, just all kinds of ways that we can make sure that the citizens have access to information and get the notifications that they need. Additionally, we're in the coming weeks or months, we should have our online and application, our mobile app. And it's going to have a lot of different things, a lot of the modules for jobs. You could get alerts for that. You could get alerts for Newsflash. You can sign up to get emergency alerts should we have any kind of tornado or storms come up, hurricanes.
We might not be fast enough on a tornado.
Right.
Hurricane, we're going to cover you.
Correct. So we could definitely get ahead of the game with that. When there's closings, you'll get an alert. Any news that comes up, you just sign up for it. You'll get an alert, and you can have that interaction with the phone, with your cell phone, and stay up to date with all Hampton news.
And I have to say, it's not just the important stuff you can get alert from. You can get an alert when the special events are posted. You can get an alert for, a particular Hampton History Museum events. I mean, it can be very customized so that you're not getting alerts for stuff you don't care about, like, I don't know, maybe Planning Commission, but you're getting notifications for the stuff you do care about. And everybody can set their own level at which they want to be notified, which I think is really helpful. Everyone should sign up for the emergency alerts, though. I do want to plug that.
They should. Equally, too, in the case that you're not very into mobile apps, we definitely encourage you to sign up for our Hampton e-news by going to hampton.gov/e-news, and you put in your email address, and you can put in you want to be notified by news release, top news, happenings and events in Hampton, or just emergency alerts, or all three. And so that's yet another way that we can stay on top of information in the city.
And I think sometimes people are reluctant to sign up for things online because they think they're going to get hit a whole lot. It's very limited. Unless there's an emergency or a weather or, big change, we're going to send you one news roundup a week and one events roundup a week. If you want a higher level than that, you can sign up on the website to get those notifications as they're posted. But we're going to give you the digest via email. So it's really very customizable.
Exactly.
What else do we have planned? Because again, this is a rolling technology thing. We've got some stuff coming up.
Well, some of the things we're going to be doing in the coming years is expanding our public Wi-Fi in many of the parks and recreation locations, City Hall building, and other places for our citizens to connect. In addition, Dacia mentioned a lot of things that we're doing to put information out on the web. We're also going to be publishing many more data sets or types of data. If citizens really want to comb through the details, we'll be putting out that kind of information as well.
And that's one of those transparency things. And I think it was in this year's award application, the police basically released blanket data. And in a lot of ways, it doesn't make sense. It's too much data. And so one of the things that I know you're looking at is, a button that will let you look at your neighborhood, or a button that will let you map what's going on, or other ways to read the data. Because sometimes giving people data is wonderful for the few people who know how to do it. But It's hard for the rest of us to understand.
Yeah, one of our most popular applications has been GIS, or our geographic system, where we publish maps. We also have the property information, so you can find out about that, but we are going to be putting out more tools to visualize data through a map, through a chart, through graphs, and those are some of the things we're working on now.
I know one of the things your staff did during one of the more recent, I think it was Matthew, flooding events. It wasn't technically a hurricane, well, briefly, but here at least, is that as flooded streets were being reported, Alan was putting them on a map so that people could visualize it. And as it was being reported on Facebook, I was adding it in the city's emergency system. We put the map out there. people figured out how to help, and they started putting in additional streets that we as a city, and we couldn't be at every intersection all the time, and so it was allowing the citizens to also report in a different way than calling 311. They were just plunking it down on that map, and I'm not sure we really intended to leave it like that, but it was a great thing.
Well, that's the power of open data and collaboration, is that, the citizens actually become part of creating the data and reporting and helping each other through, understand what's going on in the city, either an emergency or even through the budget process, by being able to, voice their opinions, see the data, visualize it.
Is that scary to governments? Like, is that scary to you, or are you, you may be a little more comfortable with it than some department heads, but throwing open, to community reporting is, I guess, what we used to call it in the journalism world, to letting people report things and have input.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a scary thing to just, open the door and let everyone in, and there's a lot of discussion about that. But one thing we do is we just don't throw all the data out there. We actually go through it and make sure that it's appropriate data for the public,
Right.
that we're not going to put out things that compromise anybody's identity. So those are the types of things. It's all public data already. But, it's the way of the future. Having more input into your government, being a part of it, participating is a good thing.
And by having social media be a big part of government now, that allows people to have more trust in government because it's something that they're already familiar with personally. So that was a big thing as part of the survey too, is how transparent are we and how do we interact in social media? And boy, do we use a lot of social media for the city of Hampton. We're very active and very proud of that. So by putting those things out there on Facebook and Instagram, we definitely share information that way too.
One of the things I looked at, because it just came naturally to me, but we have always allowed people to post on our Facebook page. That's kind of rare in government. Most people don't do that. And it takes more work because you have to know what's going on, you have to respond to people, you have to pass information along, but it is one more open door.
I would agree with that. And, I think people really want to be part of the government when we make it easy for them to do that. And it's just a great way to be connected with your community. And I think in Hampton, all of our departments are pretty innovative and open to having, these kind of conversations with the public.
I think they are too. And I think because, I was in the media for a long time, and then Hampton's the only government I've ever worked to, I thought that was the norm. It's not, is it? I mean, you go to conferences.
I go to conferences.
We get asked to speak because what we do in Hampton isn't the norm, but we forget.
We do. We really have a true, entrepreneurial and innovative spirit here amongst all our departments. And that's why I think we can get this award year after year, because we have so much great material to work from when we fill out the form every year.
Oh, we do. I know we have a wait list of, people who are asking for more technology, asking for changes and implementation on their website and people to train and all that kind of stuff. And you have a projects backlog too.
Oh, we do too. This morning I had a request for online chat from one of our departments. So that'll be something hopefully we can do this year.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we close?
No, just keep going to hampton.gov and sign up for hampton.gov, Hampton e-news, to make sure that you stay in contact with the city.
Well, and I'll say too then, since you mentioned it, we do a citizen satisfaction survey every 2 years. And 10 years ago, maybe fewer than 25% of our residents said they got their news about Hampton from Hampton. And now it's 50%. And most of that is the website. And I think it's the most functional, easy to sort through. The search bar works. I mean, it sounds like little things, but a lot of city governments their websites are hard to get through, or they have a whole lot of pictures, but you can't find the information. And, we've really worked at that. And also making it readable on your phone. That's a big deal now, because there are a lot of people who have access on their phone and maybe don't even use a desktop computer, at least not at home. They maybe do at work. Leslie, you were going to add something before I interrupted.
I was just going to say, I'm looking forward to another award next year.
Yes, we are.
Good luck. And thank you for watching. I hope that, some of these innovations don't even affect you, except that they streamline your government and save you money. But other ones are trying to be citizen friendly. We welcome your input on hampton.gov, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Nextdoor. We will attempt to answer every question, every message you send us. We want to be more transparent and interact with you in any way that we can. Thanks for watching.